Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of a luck-based Degeneracy, where art is all luck-based. I am your host, Kreat-Like-Crete.
And I'm your co-host, Absolonanonymous.
And welcome to the 10th episode of a luck-based Degeneracy, everybody. Hooray! You've
Yay!
been listening to us for roughly too long. And
Yeah.
and as a bit of a celebration, as a bit of a, you know, gift back to everybody, we decided to do a Q&A episode for this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. So,
Yeah, we're going to answer some questions.
and yeah, so first up to bat, we're gonna do Ghost Sparta asks, "What do you enjoy to do in your free time when you're not drawing the fats?" Well, in my free time, the only other thing I really do as of right now, as of currently recording this episode and currently answering this question, my free time consists of working out, playing some video games, or working on other art projects.
It's fair. Seems fair. I guess in my case, I just, I like, doing some exercise every once in a while. I don't work out, like, that much, but I do it enough to stay in shape. I I'm a big fan of just drawing in general. I don't necessarily draw just fats, you know. Uh, I have other little side projects I do just for fun on the side, like little comics. I mess around with different ideas or stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm currently trying to join a team that translates and refurbishes Baki chapters.
Ooh.
And that's currently what I'm also trying to do in my free time. Shoutouts to the Spiny Back team. Love your guys' work. I really want to help. And yeah, besides doing that, yeah, just playing video games or working out. That's really all I gotta do is those two things. Can't let my health get out of order.
Yeah. I gotta wonder, Kreat, this Baki translating team, are they like official or?
They aren't official, but they're one of the better ones out there. They put out some of the better work. Also, the guy who's the team, the head of it, is super dedicated to making it as close to the original as possible. As in, he doesn't want me to do, if I can help it, he doesn't want me to redraw anything if possible. He really wants me to copy and paste some assets from the chapter, so that it so that they, as he said, he wants to keep it as faithful to the original work as possible. And I am I'm very respectful of that, or I respect that a lot, because it could be really easy just to let people just redraw over it, but he really wants as much of the original vision to be kept. So it's been a bit of a process, me learning what they want me to do specifically. It's really fun to do, honestly. The other guy who's the current official redrawer for their team is super cool, and he and I have been talking over Discord, and he's been helping me out.
Nice. Glad to hear it, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Ghost Sparta, for asking that question. Thank you for being a big old fan, and hope you have a good old day if you're hearing this.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good day. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the question. Thank you for being a viewer. All right, next one. What's up next?
All right. Fizzlebot says, "What? Leave a question here? Okay. How about what's your favorite scenario from weight gain, fat art? Like, what's the best thing for soon to be large character to be doing? I'm a firm fan of stuffing and pampering myself. I guess in my case, it's like really just I'm very basic when it comes to that stuff. I'm not really like fancy or anything. One thing that I do enjoy that no one draws or nobody ever touches on, rarely, is someone who's already the large, but who gets inflated as well.
Oh, so
Like that's something that I've never seen.
what, fat people then
done.
being inflated?
Yeah,
You're right. That actually doesn't happen a lot. You're right. It's a
it's always like skinny become the large, but it's never the large becomes the puffy.
That is interesting. Yeah, I to be fair, I don't really see that often either. I think it's because I think on a fat person, the fat would sort of show against the inflated skin, because the fat is below the skin, so I think it would show
But
up.
then again, when did like real world physics ever come into like
Also,
the fetish scenario?
I think it'd be like putting sprinkles on, a cake that doesn't need them in a way. It's sort of like crossing the beams of sorts.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. I should do it.
So the
more.
question is, what's our personal favorite kind of scenario for the whole fat thing
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah, that's yeah, pretty much.
So, I'm trying to think on that. What are my favorite ones? For me, it's not so much scenario as it is shape. That's always sort of been the big thing for me. Is if the shape and the art is fine, it could be pretty much any scenario. The ones I don't like are the ones where, I'm not a fan of muscular or fit characters getting fat, because that's a legitimate insecurity that I have myself. So I know that's like a really popular one amongst the community, is someone who's super in shape getting really out of shape. It's not for me, my boy. Not for me, my dude. But I'm gonna say, I think just straight up, yeah. I never really thought about that. This it's a legitimately odd question to answer, because I honestly haven't thought about that. I'd say just someone who just can eat a lot, and then it just comes down to it. They already just have a huge appetite, so them just eating a bunch.
So
Yeah.
basically, the classic
Yeah, I guess.
shonen trope of eating a lot but nothing ever happening, except actually there are consequences for doing that.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Huh.
Especially if it's just they just eat a lot and it just happens to happen. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with just a normal fat girl or whatever, just getting fatter by eating more. I guess that's like the one. Just so yeah, the basic. I guess I'm also a bit of a vanilla basic bitch on that one.
Haha, I coined the term. I own it. Give me
All
royalties.
right, cool.
Next question.
Yeah, thank him, bitch.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Bitch.
Thank you for that. I'm being threatened to thank you against my will, but
Oh, if you don't.
in all seriousness, thanks for leaving the question. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you for being a listener, if you're listening.
And thank you for being a listener.
So, okay, up next we have Cloudboyo, a very good friend of ours. Shoutouts to Cloudboyo. He said, honest opinions about the fat art community. I think we've done that a little too often.
I think that's like been a background topic in almost every
I
episode.
think that's sort of been the purpose of everything I've made in terms of these podcasts, or just the whole. I guess sort of just anytime I've been open about it, I've said my case on it, but I'll reiterate again for everybody. I think the fat art community is a good and bad place at the same time. I think that it's very welcoming, but I also think it's too welcoming. It lets people in just because the people are too immature, where people doing objectively wrong things to other people or certain characters and acting like absolute troglodytes about it and then they give the, well, their art is good, so it's okay, response is just, I think that's actually, I don't even like this word because I think it's been butchered and bastardized to death, but I do think that the fat art community could be insanely toxic to other communities because they just dig their ugly tendrils into other things, and they have no scruples about it. I am not a fan of that in the slightest. But that's just the bad part, because in all honesty, I've met some pretty cool dudes. I met Absalon. I met him through the fat art community, and he's one of my best friends now. So I can't say it's all bad. I'd say it's a huge mixed bag of things, and I'd say it's a 60-40 split of positive negative, where
So is it like 60 for
60
positive or 60
yeah.
for
60 positive, 40% negative. Just because it's just a giant hug box, and I'm not a fan of hug boxes in any case. And yeah, just honest thoughts. It could be a good place to meet people, but don't get too ingrained in it, because you get a lot of weirdos who don't understand boundaries or any of that kind of shit. It gets annoying.
Yeah. I think my opinion is more along the same lines, except I'm more of a 50-50 guy. I think it's fair to say that there are people in the community who actually have issues. I'm not a big fan of just like
certain members.
Not really, but that I don't really care about the drama. If I'm being completely honest, I don't mind the drama. maybe that's a little bit of a lie, I always like this, like a little bit of spiciness just to keep me interested, but I'm not going to openly encourage it.
Neither will
I. I don't think it's a good idea to start drama, but I don't mind participating. So I might be a little bit of a hypocrite sometimes, but I have to say, I think I've learned a lot about drawing just from being in this community. I met a lot of cool artists. Kreat is a really good friend of mine, and we met here in this sometimes shithole. Is it fair to say that it has its good parts? Yeah, of course. Like I said, you meet a lot of cool people here, and I do agree that some parts of the community can be very toxic, as much as that word has
been
kind of lost its meaning.
Yeah, and been overused to death. But yeah, I would say it's a toxic place, but every toxic zone can be quarantined, and find those quarantine zones where it's not just a rampaging free-for-all of people who don't understand how to act normally or speak normally, because there are quite a few of those around here. That is absolutely certain.
Every dark sky has its stars, you know what they say?
Yeah, but sadly they're behind the clouds. By the way, thanks Cloud Boyo for responding to us. Love you. You're a good friend of ours. Keep on being coolio, and thanks for asking the question. All right, next up.
All right, let's see. Well, I don't have. This is from Litness. Thank you for writing this question.
Oh yeah, Litness.
Well, I don't really have the ability to ask on YouTube, so I guess I can try and ask here. What is your favorite kind of thing to draw? Me personally, I'm a big fan of like fights and stuff. Like martial arts. That's been my favorite sort of genre to draw in is since I was a little wee lad. I remember watching Dragon Ball Kai on my here's the thing that was funny, like when I was a kid, my parents used to have this TV that was placed above their bed, so it was like on a little support thing. And this is in our this is like in my childhood apartment, and whenever I was done with school work and stuff, or maybe when I wasn't done with it, because no kid is perfect, but I would go into their room, and turn on the TV just because I thought it was like fun to watch it, like on the bed, and also looking up. It was just really fun. So I would just watch TV and I found Dragon Ball Kai, and I was like, wow, this show is really, really good. And yeah, I stuck with it. And I watched it all the way through the Frieza saga, and I was like, I need to find more of this. And then I came back to it and just watched the entire thing. I'm like, wow, I really enjoy fights and all that stuff. So to answer your question, fighting, martial arts, just classic shonen action is really where it's at. Just all those crazy over the top things, but yeah, that's me.
I'm not too far off. I'm actually pretty much the same, and in fact, I get a little self-conscious that sometimes when speaking on my discords or any discords I share with some of my buds, I see, and I mostly just draw fight scenes and fighting poses, and I just show everybody, hey, how's this looking? And then everyone says, oh, Kreat, why you draw fighting poses all the time? It's because I want to draw fighting comics myself, and I was also heavily inspired by Dragon Ball Z, and I'd watch a lot of that, and Naruto and Bleach and all those, classic low tier normie series that everyone likes to make fun of. But yeah, I would watch a ton of those, and I'd say, wow, I like the big explosion and the big attack, and I want to have a girlfriend with big old titties, and that would be me. That's why I draw what I draw now. It's pretty much it. That's a very, it's kind of a stupid answer, since Absalon gave pretty much the same one. What do I like? But I like to draw, just fighting poses. Honestly, there's, I think the ability to somehow make the illusion of motion occur in a still image is one of my favorite things to do with art. I think that's one of the biggest strengths of art, is to show that, to be able to fake, in a way, to be able to fake motion and impact in an image that isn't actually moving.
It's the beauty of comics, right? Mm-hmm. The illusion of time within a still space.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And I gotta say it right now, our whole, we've never met, me and Kreat have never met in real life, but the amount of similarities within both of our lives is so scaringly similar that we're actually starting to debate whether or not we're just the same person, just from a parallel dimension or something.
Yeah, I'm honestly somewhat upset, or not upset, but a little scared that he is actually my doppelganger, and when we actually do meet, there'll be actual consequences to it. That both of us will disappear.
Break reality.
Both of us will disappear.
Yeah.
It's like that one cave. It's that one Cave Johnson quote where you're about to deal with time and all that, but if you see your other twin, do not look him in the eye, because that will wipe all the top boys over here. Say that will wipe out all space and time, forward, backwards, the whole thing, all gone. So just let that handsome devil walk right on by.
Oh, man, I love Cave. I love just J.K. Simmons is great.
Mm-hmm. Which, funny enough, if we're done answering that question, where both of us just like drawing fighting and action poses. Thank you for that question, by the way.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you.
So the next question is topical to my last point. Which video game genre is your favorite and why? So not even specifically favorite video game, even though I will spearhead this question by saying my absolute favorite game of all time is Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. They're on the same level for me. They're both, I essentially call them the same game because that they are. Majora's Mask is pretty much an expansion pack. So it was DLC before DLC.
I mean, they spent all this time developing the engine to run Ocarina of Time, and then they're like, let's use it again.
And then Shigeru Miyamoto, in his infinite wisdom, said, sure, do it, but you only got a year to do it. He wanted that to happen. He specifically called that they only had a year for that. He makes weird decisions. A lot of weird decisions.
Yeah, but we love him for
Absolutely. It. I'm just saying, he makes some weird decisions when it comes to the direction shit goes. But my favorite genre, I'd have to say RPG or fighting games. And that includes JRPGs, because I played a lot of those when I was younger. Shoutouts to Golden Sun.
Rip. No, it's no Isaac in Smash Brothers, unfortunately.
Yeah, shoutouts to Golden Sun and also Rip Golden Sun. You were a beautiful little RPG series that never got the love you deserved. But yeah, I would have to say RPGs, both RPG and JRPG and fighting games. Those are my faves.
Yep. In my case, my big thing is I love doing like the most like detailed things in video games, which is I think for my answer I'd have to say open world.
So
either that or fighting games.
So sandboxes and all that. So
sandboxes and just like stuff that allows you to do the most mundane and like basic of things, but also it just requires the most programming. Like just Breath of the Wild, where you can just like cook food, and you can also just like surf on shields and play with dogs and doing the like. Dude, like I get that Breath of the Wild it lacks a little bit when it comes to story and enemy variety, but I gotta tell you, when I first played that game the first time, I straight up like binged it for like 10 hours just because of how many stuff you could do. Because I was impressed when Super Mario 64 DS came out, because that was kind of like open world actually. It wasn't linear, is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done like whatever you wanted, not exactly whatever you wanted, but you weren't limited to just one straight path.
Yeah.
And it was on like a handheld. And I was like, this is the best shit ever. And I played the shit out of Super Mario 64 DS. And I was like, this game is awesome. Mm-hmm. And then Smash, I don't know, I just get impressed every time like a new game comes out and it's also on handheld. Mm-hmm. So like Smash 4 on 3DS was like, wow. And Smash 4 is an alright game, which is also a fighting game, and I really got into it like a year or so back just because I started playing it competitively. Yeah. I haven't gone to, I wouldn't say competitively, because I haven't gone to any tournaments yet, just because there aren't any in the area that I live in, or I haven't found any yet. I've been trying to look for it. But if I could go to tournaments, I would, because I've been just trying to get good at it.
I'm pretty sure
I'm getting off point.
I'm pretty sure you can go to event hubs and look at it. Because pretty sure
I've been actually like debating whether or not to make, start a Smash related club on my campus.
Honestly, dude, do it, because that's one of the best ways to do it. I would, because it doesn't cost anything to start a club, and plus you'll meet a bunch of really cool dudes that way. Some also not very cool dudes, and it's just a good way of just networking with people and getting to do it over a real fun game.
Yeah, Smash is just really fun.
Yeah, and
it's a really good way to bring people together.
I'd say it's the most consistent series ever made. There is no bad Smash game.
Yeah, there isn't.
There can be ones that you dislike heavily, but none of them are objectively bad games. All of them play well, all of them do what they're supposed to do, and all of them have loads of shit to do in them. They are not, in any case, bad.
Yeah. And then fighting games are also... when I mean fighting games, I specifically mean Smash Brothers, but I want to try Dragon Ball FighterZ, just because, the whole fighting thing we were talking about last question.
Dude.
I would not mind getting into Dragon Ball FighterZ, because I just hear it's a really fun game.
I was actually a little bit, because when I heard from other people, because I know one guy on YouTube was super hyped for it, Cosmonaut in Variety Hour. He made a video about it. He said, "I am hyped as hell for this game." He said, it looks good. I trust Arc Systems, but it doesn't look spectacular. And then he made a video about it. And he said, "This is the best fighting game ever made. Everyone should play it. It's fucking amazing. Do it." And then when my friend, my friend bought it himself, said, "Hey, Kreat, let's play this together. Let's play some let's play some Dragon Ball Fighters. And when I was prepping to go over there, and I was, on my drive there, I said, okay, Dragon Ball Fighters, show me how good you are. And yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I was just skeptical a little bit because, sometimes 2D fighting games can be all right, but nope.
That's the thing.
Dragon Ball Fighters is.
It's not just 2D. It's 3D that looks like 2D. I think that's its best feature because it looks like fucking Dragon Ball. Mm-hmm. It looks like the show when it's 3D, and I think that's amazing.
Also, everything plays really well. I think it's the perfect blend of, high skill versus just casual play, because there are one-button combos that do fair amounts of damage. It's not that you have to learn, quarter circle backwards, dragon punch upper, dragon punch light cancel into, low kick, high kick, and then into aerial grab to projectile. Like, none of that. It's just, you can just keep hitting, the same button, do a combo. It's great.
Isn't that auto combos though?
It's somewhat auto combo, yeah, but I think that's really cool to add that in. It doesn't
because it helps like bridge,
I think it's
not just like competitive solely.
Yeah,
it can be casual too.
I think that's some good shit. I love that kind of design. And what was it? There was excuse me. I was gonna say something else about that. This whole question. I was gonna say something about that. Oh yeah. To digress a little bit. Breath of the Wild. I really hope we get a Majora's Mask thing to Breath of the Wild, because that engine is really good and they spend a lot of time, making it. So I doubt that they'll just get rid of it after one game.
Yeah.
And I really hope they make a Majora's Mask style sequel to Breath of the Wild. Just with some more refinement.
We can only hope.
Just with some more refinement.
I think you showed me the whole thing where it's like the concept of the Guardians before they were actually technological.
Oh, dude.
And I gotta say, those designs, if you haven't looked it up, there's designs for the enemies in Majora's Mask, or no, not Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, like the Guardians, before the concept of technology was introduced. Mm-hmm. It's actual horror. That would be perfect for a Majora's Mask style game.
I would love it, some sort of nightmare world. I don't know, they make it where... Maybe they make it where, you know how the Hyrule that is in Breath of the Wild is, post-defeat and all that, but it's slowly reviving itself. Yeah. Because nature took over. I would love if there was some sort of nightmare world or something where Calamity Ganon became ruler. He killed Princess Zelda and shit, and you have to go revive her or something, and just these horrid monstrosities just walking all over the place. Or no, what would actually have been horrifying, because this part was already horrifying enough in Breath of the Wild, there was the pitch black forest to find that one shrine in the center of that pitch black forest. You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember you just walking through the dark, and then you find a hidden.
Yep. And the only thing you think is, oh no. But...
oh shit.
But imagine that, where it's just that pitch blackness, and, you hear, stomping around, or, very light, whispering thumps, or...
Yeah.
And you just see that giant, thin one just walking around, and you just get aggroed to it, and it just starts chasing you.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh, that's actually terrifying. And for all you boys and girls out there, I'll throw up a quick image of what we're talking about. This thing is absolutely mortifying. I just hope they use this design as something, because it's too original and too terrifying to not. Yeah. Alright, get out of here, you scamp. You're fucking... I don't even know that word, but... Yeah, you fucking
gross
imp. It's gross. Go take a shower. Clean yourself off.
Before we move on, one more thing. If I ever get into Dragon Ball Fighters, I'm absolutely adding Yamcha to my tag team. just because I sort of mained him in Xenoverse when I played it for a little bit. It's just I just like Yamcha just because he's just like such a goof, and it's also ridiculous too. But yeah. Moving on. Thank you for the question. Let's not dilly dally too much. You go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let's see his name. Arengi, or however you pronounce his name. Thank you very much. Love you. You're a cool guy. Thanks for asking the question and being a listener. All right, up next.
All right, up next we got I am Spartacus 9, and this is a very simple question, but it's something that is worth discussing. Okay, I got one. How does one draw the fats? Now, yeah.
So I know that there's a lot of memes about the whole, first draw a circle, then draw a few more circles, then draw the rest of the fucking owl. That thing where it's where a lot of artists, I know it's a very common thing for a lot of artists to just say, just practice. But I'm gonna say specifically, because I'm doing this myself, and it's all because of this boy over here. If you want to get good at drawing fat, study heft. And what I mean by study heft, study how it falls onto the human skeleton. So I would say study models. That's the best thing. Study, actual real humans, and then you can accent and exaggerate certain things when you put it to your own art style. That's the number one thing, is always practice from real life if you want to make something look better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Heft is really important, but I feel like a lot of people, when they try to draw that for like the first time, and here's the thing, it might as well be a fetish because it is, but it is a decent challenge art wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just for the whacking material, It actually does offer me like frustration because I can't get something to work right, and it's fun because you get to work around that and you get to like try new things. The way I like to do it to help me out is I used to just draw it like, just draw the fat by just by itself, but I realized that if I do that, my anatomy suffers. So what I do is I draw what I'm doing now, which I draw the figure first, like the model, the basic sort of outline, and then when I'm done with that, I go in and I add another layer to the canvas and trace over it with a thickness layer, and then keep on adding on top of that. And that's generally what I do.
Which is something that you can actually see him do in motion if you go back and watch a few of the episodes of Luck-Based Degeneracy. I caught you doing some of that last time I went back and watched some of the episodes just to see how YouTube fucked them up and what I can do to fix that. But yeah, that is absolutely something you can do, is start off with drawing the losing my word. Yeah, start drawing the figure itself and then add on to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real good idea.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer, but the payoff is way more rewarding, just because you know that you got it right.
And
and sometimes you gotta like make sort of compromises. Sometimes things don't line up because, like I said, it's a decent challenge to draw all that heft on the human figure. But once you get it down, you get the basics sort of down, you can just add on top of that. Just sort of go to town, have fun.
Yeah, you know what's always funny? What I always find, at least in this community, how they all say, "Man, muscles are so hard to draw," and my only response is, "Yeah, but do you see how many references there are for?" Like, if you look up drawing references of any kind for males or females, it's always the idealized body shape. They're easy as sin to draw. I could probably draw it. You know what? I actually can draw them with my eyes closed. I can draw muscles with my eyes closed. But the other thing I'm gonna say, and this is just a general tip for life. One thing I've learned over the course of a little bit is it's not what you do or how you do or anything like that. The one thing that will always help you get better, no matter what, is consistency. Consistently practice, consistently study, consistently stay on top of something, because eventually, you're gonna have some bad days. You're gonna have some time where you aren't going to be able to do something or do something right, and you sometimes you're just you're gonna have a bad day. I understand that, but when you want to learn something, you will learn it, and the only way to learn it is to study it consistently. Stay on track, stay on top of it, and eventually you'll get to a certain point, because if you keep up with your studies for, a year, or you keep up to it day to day, eventually all those days will turn to a week, and all those weeks will turn to a month, and all those months will turn into a year. And suddenly you've been practicing and studying these anatomy and figure drawing and all this for a whole year. And suddenly you have an extra year of experience, and you're much better. Constantly ask.
Yeah, I gotta say, yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying. Also, constantly ask for critique from your friends. It's helped a good buddy of ours improve much faster than we honestly thought he would.
Yeah, he knows who he is.
Yeah.
Not gonna say it, but he knows who he is.
Shout out to Jito.
Another, yeah. Shout out to Jito, yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
By the time this episode goes up, we probably should have already posted the episode that we recorded with him, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah, definitely ask for critiques, and definitely keep practicing. It's been like 3 years since I've joined with this account.
Mm-hmm.
I can go back in my gallery and I notice improvement, which is good.
I don't in mine.
Which is why I'm here. I keep on, showing you new ways to do stuff.
I still draw with the circle tool.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, to be fair, it does help to use the circle tool. Like, it's not a bad thing to use it. It's just like, if you just use that and not touch up anything else, it's just like, it's kind of meh.
Yeah.
Could have done a little bit more there, pal. Chump.
It's like
buddy.
It's like asset flipping in a
right.
game engine. Yeah, those can the pre-existing stuff can be used, but you should use that as a base, as a way to learn, not as not as the final product.
All right. Thank you for asking that question. I am Spartacus9. I'm going to move on to the next question by Mr. Mope. We know Mr. Mope. He's a good pal.
I love his art. I study it sometimes. He does excellent thick appendages, and I need to learn how to do that as well as he does, because he is really, really, really good at it. Shout outs to Mr. Mope.
Yep. And his question is, what is your process on how do you tackle sequential art, or how to set up a comic page with panels?
Are you
now?
You completely cut out on my
I
end.
do that a lot, because that's what I want to do for the rest of my life is comics. I intend to pursue this career as a career, drawing comics.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
You completely cut out on my end. So what was the question again?
Good thing we're recording.
Yeah, exactly.
But the question is, what is your process on how you tackle sequential art, or how to set up a comic panel? How to set up a comic page with panels.
Okay.
So basically, how do you make a comic sheet or a comic page with panels? Yeah. It's this is like my career choice. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
So do I.
Yeah, we both do. I told you we're the same person.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead, Kreat. Tell us your reasoning.
Well, I'm certainly no master at it, but my philosophy with just comics in general, beyond 4-panel comics that you would find on Twitter that just say a silly joke or whatever, which there's obviously a place and a market for that, and I'm not trying to diss on those, but beyond just a basic comic, if you're willing to do comic pages, what I personally enjoy to focus on is the paneling. And you can use every aspect of a page to tell the story. And you have to sort of be conscious of that. You have to be conscious of where the panel falls and how the reader reads a page, or how you want them to. Because you can, there's something in the art of writing comics where it's like the line, the eye line or something. I want to say that's what it's called. I'm probably getting the term or I'm probably getting the term wrong. But,
I know what you mean, though. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, how you lay out a panel or how you laid out pages is, you can, as I think I explained it to you when you were asking for certain stuff on the one thing you were making. I told you that tilting that one guy added a lot more weight to something, because, like I said, if you imagine when you have to create a comic page, you have to look at it like it's a page with words on it. But instead of words, it's images, and the images are telling the story for you, because that's what comics are. So if you look at that, and then you read it, you have to sort of be conscious of what your eye is doing when you read the page. And then, if you even want to, you can create a separate layer, or, something where you sort of follow how your eye is reading it. So if you can build on that layer, or not on that layer, if you can build on that line, it adds so much more flow and intensity or weight and depth to the drawings, to the page itself. One of my favorite comics ever, I think if we're going with comics, the best comic to study and see how it's done is Watchmen. Watchmen is undoubtedly the creme de la creme. If not the best, it is one of the best Western comics to incorporate some of the best paneling I've ever seen in a comic book. That and a manga for some of my manga viewers. Even if you don't like the sport, if you don't like sumo or anything, Hinomaru Zumo has some of the best manga paneling I've ever seen in my life. And it is used intentionally to accent how your eye reads the page. If you want to study how good paneling is done, I suggest Watchmen and Hinomaru Zumo for study. Because those are the two I look at the most for just how the art and the paneling works to create the story and tell the story through just visuals alone, and how your eye travels through it. It's honestly magical how some really good paneling is done. Okay, so my little response, my little ramble can die there. Go ahead and do yours, your response, because I kind of took up some space there.
No, it's fine. I agree that Watchmen is a really good example, and I also, would suggest laying out a way that paneling, it's a weird thing. There's this thing called the golden ratio of comic book paneling. I read it in an article somewhere, and it's basically laid out that, you have to focus the panels on parts of the page, on certain parts of the page that the eye can easily identify. And, there's always a golden ratio to the way everything is laid out. Good comic book paneling has that. And I think in terms of paneling, Watchmen is really good. Sandman is pretty good. Sandman is a really good comic. You should check that one out. Mm-hmm. It's really good. When it comes to manga, which is probably what I've grown up with, I grew up with manga, because I come from a different country where manga is more popular. The word weeb doesn't exist where I come from. Instead, you have otaku as sort of the basis, right? Which, weeb just sort of like a Western thing, I guess. But where I'm from, there is a very big influx of Japanese immigrants that came to the country that I lived in for a good portion of my life. And they popularized manga. So I grew up with it, and a couple really good ones that come to mind when it comes to framing is Dragon Ball is very good at keeping your eye interested
Mm-hmm.
with minimal word dialogue and a lot of sort of action going on. Dragon Ball is really good at that. And another one that's not as commonly known, but I still think is very good at it, is Ranma One Half. If you read the manga, you can easily tell what's going on. You can. I blasted through that series, and that's not a bad thing. Like I blasted through that series in like a month, and it was really fun reading it. Rumiko Takahashi. I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right, but she's the same writer of Inuyasha,
Mm-hmm.
and she's really good at what she does. Really successful comic book artist, or mangaka, and with good reason. She has really good style. I think I take a lot of inspiration from her work. I really enjoy what she does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my answer.
So, yeah, so to summarize what that whole thing was about, study some of your favorite comics and pay attention to what your eye is doing and how it flows. Because just like with actual written word, art can flow, and a comic is a story, but with more pictures and less words. And
Yeah, pretty
the
much.
art can absolutely tell the story without needing words most of the time. I think a really good comic can tell the story without any sort of dialogue. Dialogue
Mm-hmm.
helps, but a really good one, you can generally tell what's going on if there's even if you don't read the words.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because yeah.
Um,
Also study.
yeah, thank you.
Also,
Oh,
one last
go
thing.
ahead.
I would say
No, no, go ahead.
something that really helps, and this is more just for me, I guess, because I have a love of movies. I would say study some good movies. So I would say just look up good movies and study how they frame their shots, because there's there's a lot of mental stuff when it comes to how a shot is framed, how certain angles can be used to convey specific emotions or specific tones without even needing dialogue. And yeah, so generally I like to say high angles. You know, if we're going from like bird's eye view, high
Mhm.
angles, uh, high angles make everything look small and weak. Low angles make things look imposing and powerful. There's a freebie for all of you. But the rest
Yeah,
is, yeah. Go ahead and study some of your favorite stuff and pay attention to how it makes you feel and how it makes your eye move. So there we go.
yeah.
Those are our answers.
Thank you, Mr. Mope. We appreciate the question. That was
Love you, Mo.
very, good conversation starter.
No, I said love you.
Um,
All right,
uh huh.
all right,
Your
so
turn.
next question. So Hijinks 723 asks, would you want your IRL romantic partner to be fat, or would you want them to be closer to average weight due to health risk? In this instance, being chubby is included as average.
Hmm.
As a man who has had a fat partner before, I would absolutely say keep it in fiction, boys. Keep it in fiction. I'm just straight up telling most of you. I know it seems great and all that to have, and but once you have it all the time, personally for me, the real life risks soon sobered me up to it, and you realize you would prefer having a girlfriend or a partner longer than than you want to live out your fetish. Because yeah, that's a personal thing for me. I mean, you guys can all do what you want, but for me, yeah, after having somebody who needed legitimate surgery to help fix them and they had legitimate health problems, now I think I've resigned off of wanting a fat partner. I would definitely personally go for average at most now.
Yeah, I can say the same.
Yeah.
Uh, when it comes to this, it's always been a fiction thing. I never intended to bring it into the real world, just
Yeah.
because I'm more of a I'm very romantic more than I let on. And I want to live, a very long life with the person that I choose. So I don't want health to. I want to minimize the risks. So
Yeah.
average is definitely, where I'm gonna go.
And that isn't to say, oh, Crete and Epsilon don't like we're fat shaming. No, no, just I know I have firsthand experience of dealing with somebody who was overweight, and the risks involved only made me depressed and made her sick. So I would prefer a normal sized person, an average girl, from now on.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is all right.
I guess that's just a
Uh,
simple question.
on a higher note, yeah. On a higher note, we have from thank you for answering
Yeah.
for
Thank you.
putting that question,
Yeah.
by the way.
Thank you much, Hijinks. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.
We have Neckery Vengeance, a really nice artist. Love his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is expansion body horror? Yes,
Yes. Next question.
yes. Next question. Louis
X9
X50.
or X50.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As he's known to us, Radon. Haha, very cool dude.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Do you boys think that there's any mainstream potential for a weight gain focused IP?
Fat Princess.
I know that plus, yeah, that elf manga, the plus size elf manga that comes to mind. Yeah.
I would say. I would.
That's a weird one.
I would say personally, I don't think that. I honestly don't think weight gain or fat will ever be mainstream, and I hope it's not, because it is unhealthy, and I hope it stays a niche thing, because it really isn't healthy, guys. There's nothing good that comes of it for being obese. There really isn't, and I think unless it stays as it could stay as a niche thing, sure, but I just think society at large just overall it wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
It just won't. That's just how it goes. That's just how it's gonna be. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but
That's
you guys can be the change in the world. Go out there, make your stories and comics and shit about what you want to see. Maybe it will. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, hopefully I'm not. But maybe I'll be wrong, and we'll get fat characters as a mainstream thing where that's what people want to see. They want to see fat people with cellulite hanging out of their nuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hot take, but I agree. I don't see the benefits of it really.
I really just,
aside from just being that very awkward weight gain episode that most shows have.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
I just nah. Yeah, I don't think it really has any place in mainstream, because most people just don't like it. I've spoken to a lot of people, and a lot of people definitely say that even though there's the whole "Yas Queen Slay" bullshit, there's the most people that I talk to, yeah, they're generally not a fan of bigger girls. Just normal stuff, normal people I talk to.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
fine.
it's a little bit more personal, but I've really just I think I can safely say I've really fallen for a lot more girls who are on average size rather than plus size women.
Yeah, so have I.
Just because just it's really weird. It's just more of a really fantasy thing. Really, it's just not really something I want to experience in real life.
Also,
I grew up as a really fitness nut guy. My family was all about staying healthy, so I guess just I don't know, just living and having a partner who probably will suffer a lot more as your relationship goes on just doesn't appeal to me.
also, as a guy who worked in a hospital and had to move and clean up after some heftier individuals, I can definitely say that helped sober me up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good on paper because there's no real life consequences, but just stay aware, guys. This is the real world, and as patronizing as that sounds, it's the truth.
The truth, yeah.
You know, it's better to hear it like here than, you know.
Hate to splash you with that cold pee-pee water, but yeah.
The Poseidon's kiss, as you say it.
Yeah, sorry to splash you with Poseidon's kiss, but it's just how it be, and sadly, no amounts of enjoyment or demand for it will ever change that fact, because it's just human physiology, my friends.
Yeah.
Anyways, on a
these are pretty depressing.
All right, so thank you, Radon, for asking that question for us. Thank you for being a good friend. All right, so let's do on an actual lighter note.
Yeah.
Jafek asks, if French is like talking in cursive, does that mean ice skating is walking in cursive?
Yes. I think that's fair. That makes sense. The logic lines up. So I'm gonna have to say yes.
I just like that French is talking in cursive.
French is
assumed
talking in cursive.
I was assumed British was English in cursive. You know, or just like a British
English is
a British accent is English in cursive. That's why I always assumed.
I always assumed that British was more like Times New Roman of English.
Times New
Roman. That really refined. Like you have like American English,
Comic Sans,
as like Comic Sans, and then you have Arial or Times New Roman as being like the British English.
Because you just got like America. Yeah, yeet. It's just in Comic Sans and.
I mean, just go back and you look at all the YouTube videos from like 2012, and you can pretty much, say the majority of them were probably done in Comic Sans,
or Times New Roman.
Times New Roman.
Just default Windows Movie Maker text.
Yes.
It's always my favorite.
With the classic transitions where it's like, the faded. It's like the text, the title, and then it's like the half opacity version of that, like slowly sliding across the screen with a blue background.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude, those things are the greatest.
I love looking at song videos where it's song lyrics and all that, and it just has that transition. I think, my man using motherfucking Windows Movie Maker.
Like a true man.
True YouTuber. When are we going to get back to the point when high quality YouTubers are going to be making videos, but with Windows Movie Maker? I'm tired of the Sony Vegas or iMovie or whatever the fuck you're using. Go back to using Windows Movie Maker like a real champion. That was the 2007, 2006 era, motherfucker. That was where I was there. I was there when that was going on. My first video ever to YouTube had no music to it. It was just I just used Windows Movie Maker to make it, and it had no music to it because I didn't know how to do that. It wasn't until my second video until I learned how to put music on it. My first video ever to YouTube was just called Zelda Tribute, and it was just me taking a bunch of pictures I liked from Zelda and just putting it on there, and there was no fucking tribute. It was just me stealing people's art without really even thinking about it and making a video. That was all I did.
Oh well, we learned from our mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Now I make videos of me drawing my own shit and calling it a Zelda tribute. Still with no music.
Yeah, no music. It's got the classic Windows Movie Maker background.
Yep.
But that's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Even though we sort of got off topic, but yeah. Anyways.
Was it really the?
Thank you for leaving your question there.
Thank you very much.
Moving on. Nothing strange here. Posts. What caused you to get into Witgame? Like a certain cartoon, movie, YouTube video, etc. Passion patties.
Funny thing else. Also, someone David64 also asked the exact same thing, but he also asked how did we get good at it, and we already kind of answered that. So we'll answer both your questions
Practice.
at the same time.
Yeah, passion patties and practice. Both starts with P's. Both are very basic. Yeah. But yeah, we already kind of answered the specifics of it, so it's the main
The
thing. Yeah.
what caused you to get into it? What is the patient zero of your illness? Your sickness for the thickness.
The sickness for the thick. I love that. That's so hilarious.
Yeah, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your patient zero? What infected you?
The Totally Spies episode, Passion Patties.
Yep. Do you think they knew what they were doing with that?
I mean, if you look at that show, every episode is based on a fetish. Like, come on.
Do you think
You have like bondage,
tickling,
like expandable clothing,
muscle fetish,
something muscle fetish, like being buried alive,
drowning?
yeah, drowning, literally, actually drowning. One of the most terrifying deaths you could ever like suffer is also as a fetish.
Dude, I got a commission from somebody, or I declined it, but yeah, someone had a legitimate fetish where they wanted me to draw one of their characters drowning. I was like, not doing that.
If you have your own thing, as long as you aren't actually drowning people, like go for it. But like,
yeah, I mean,
no, count me out.
I mean, yeah, dude, good. More power to you. Glad you get off to something, but no thanks.
Yeah, I'm actually like a swimmer, so the thought of actually drowning is probably one of the scariest ways that I would think I would die. So no.
I am in the same. I'm not a swimmer, but I have almost drowned before, and I can say having your lungs feel like they're about to collapse is not a fun feeling.
Yeah, I actually almost drowned once. Here's a little quick story, just to stall for time. I went to a family beach, party that happened to. It's like a house on this beach. This is back in the country that I'm from, and we went for a barbecue, and they had a beach there. They were had a house, and it was right next to it. So we go out, and the way that the beach is made is that the water line starts, but instead of the sand sort of going out on a degree or at a 20-degree angle, slowly going down, down, down. The sand was really thick. It wasn't powdery, right? It was really, really thick. It was like salt, right? It wasn't salt. So that means that the consistency was really loose. And what that means is that there's a drop off, right? There's you get to the water and then it just drops down and sort of, curves. And the way that sort of impacts the way that the waves work is that you get more aggressive waves. And I was a good swimmer, so I'm like, it'll be fine. I'll just jump in. And I kept on getting sucked out back into the water, and I was actually legitimately scared for my life because there are these really aggressive 10-foot waves, constantly pulling me back. And the sand was so loose that I couldn't find any foothold to swim against the current. After maybe 20 minutes of full-out sprint, I actually managed to get out. But, you realize that, you may think you're good, but Mother Nature is 1,000 times better, so don't fuck with nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I should stop swearing.
Yeah.
A lot. I have a problem with that. I should stop saying that.
Yeah, you fucking.
Yeah, that's my little American Horror Story for you.
My drowning story was just I went inner tubing in an inner tube that was way too small for me, and then I flipped over and I was being dragged around by a speedboat going 40 miles an hour. That wasn't fun.
I've actually I've had some boating experience before.
I love how we're taking this from a question that was just how do we get into fat, and now we're talking about dying.
Yeah. Talking about dying. I remember getting dragged by a speedboat, and I thought it would be a brilliant idea to not fall off was to wrap my fingers in the cord between the inner tube and the boat. and I almost lost all my fingers.
Wow. Then you wouldn't have been able to
Yeah,
make the beautiful creations you make now.
they're shit. Shut up.
Okay.
But yeah. That's to go back to the really question that we really sort of like diverged off of. Um, Totally Spies, Passion Patties. You know, everybody knows that one. Okay.
Also, for me, Mrs. Puff was also a big one, just for the whole just expansion thing.
That, that's hilarious.
Mammoth Mutt from the Crypto, the Super Dog. That was a classic one. Then yeah, Passion Patties was like one of the big ones.
It has to be, you know.
Yeah. Also, I just think that I've said this before, and I will continue to say this, but I think a lot of fetishes are based off of some level of fear, in some way.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
I am terrified of like exploding. You know, like any of those popping things. That is literally the most horrific, unassailably mortifying death I could ever imagine. For it just rubs me the absolute wrong way. That shit gives me nightmares. And yeah, but you know, my brain, instead of letting me suffer and you know say, wow, this is gonna royally fuck you up, let's change it to something sexual. That should help. And now it's strangely appealing to me, but it's still absolutely horrific. It sort of goes into Neko Revengeance's question of is expansion body horror? Yeah, kind of is.
I think we mentioned this like on our second episode
Yeah.
where we're talking about like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory actually being like a horror movie.
No, it is. It definitely
It is a horror movie.
It definitely
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Some madman has this weird place that's designed as a wonderland. Then
But it also like brings out your most like glaring weaknesses.
and then turns into an abomination.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Like that one kid,
you.
like Mike just gets his like entire body shrunken down and then resized by putting in a type. Can you imagine getting like your body like stretched out?
Yeah, there's something called the rack. That was a torture device.
Yep. That's basically what it is. You know?
They've also
You guys can jerk off to it all you want. I'm still gonna say that movie was fucking horrible. Like not like bad, but it's like just like
terrifying.
the thoughts that it provokes. Yeah, just terrifying.
Especially
God.
with the weird creepy CGI when they're like walking out and, you know, fucking Violet Beauregard's is, you know, stretching in inhuman ways.
Ugh.
Especially after being stretched in inhuman ways.
Ugh.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even if you even go on the fucking Violet Beauregard clip or any of them, it's full of a bunch of really creepy weirdos who are all saying like, "Oh, so hot." It's like you guys are openly admitting to be pedophiles right now. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like all of you.
Kind of weird, you know. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. That's it's really dumb, and also
It's really weird.
yeah. Let's get some help.
Yeah, I'm gonna contact the FBI real quick.
Yeah.
You just hold tight.
Yeah, let me get Ishiban on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, call outs. You're gonna have to censor that.
Nah.
Nah, why?
Nah, I'm not gonna do it. That's right. I fucking nah. Anyways, next question. Thank you you two for asking the same question. You want original pieces of shit.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on.
Go ahead.
All right. So, Jay of the Damned, a good friend of ours. Shout outs to Jay. Cool guy. A lot of fun to talk to. What is one facet about your work that you truly wish to improve upon the most? Backgrounds. And also coloring, because I'm colorblind and also just really retarded when it comes to how colors mix together. And also just retarded in general, but specifically how colors work with each other.
I can't actually find an episode where you haven't mentioned your retardation, but
Being
okay.
retarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well,
your mental ineptitude. Okay.
I mean, it's true. I'm just gonna let that slip by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm also proud of it. Yeah, I'm proud of having a room temperature IQ.
Okay.
I'm proud of not being able to spell Mississippi correctly.
spell I cup.
I cup. Okay. A B C D E F G. Fuck you.
Okay, you got me.
See.
Moving on. What is it just backgrounds and coloring?
I also want to. What was something else? I want to get. One of the things I really want to improve on is being consistent, because I feel when I draw characters, even the same characters, I feel like I can never nail what they look like more than once. In a weird way.
I get that.
In a weird way, like, especially when I want to draw them in like a different angle, and then suddenly, I want to draw, let's say Lily in a different angle, and then suddenly they look completely different, or she looks completely different.
Yeah. I don't think you've ever mentioned Lily here.
I tend to not, because just,
Yeah.
I want to stay
It's not really
pertinent.
Yeah. Stay on topic, even though we've not done that. Anyways, yeah, backgrounds. I think we brought that up with Bamboo, and he gave some tips. I need to rewatch that video and
Yeah, boys, go back and rewatch that episode. Got a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff.
rewatch all of our episodes. Give us more views.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Also, donate to my Patreon.
Yeah, donate to my Patreon. Go to my GoFundMe.
Go to my GoFundMe page. Tweet out hashtag P for Lotus on Twitter. That's an old one. That's from the Fatty Cast, dude.
Yeah, P for Lotus.
P for Lotus.
I remember that.
P for Lotus. Everyone go
That's an old one.
Make that trending on Twitter.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Lotus.
Shoutouts to Lotus.
Yeah. What else? I think backgrounds, coloring. I want to do more. Not necessarily coloring, but like shading. Shading is something I want to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lighting in
and
general.
Also, like, I feel like I haven't found my art style yet. And what I mean by that is, like, I feel like I've been sort of like copying other people that I admire sometimes, and I kind of want to make my own style. And I feel like I have been succeeding. I just want to, finalize it and make sure that I'm on the right path.
I would say that I honestly think that being obsessed with having your own style, quote unquote, I think is somewhat unimportant, because I think that in all cases, every single artist is inspired by other artists. So
yeah.
So being, saying, "Oh, I'm just a copy of them," unless you are legitimately like 1-to-1 with somebody, I wouldn't be too worried about, not being yourself. I think your style is incredibly unique, and I definitely.
Thank you.
I mean, I could definitely pick out yours from a lineup. I don't know anybody who draws like you do.
Well, never mind then. Apparently, I have my own style, according to Crete.
Then again,
Crete of Crete.
What do I know? I'm fucking.
Okay.
What do I know?
I'd say that your style is definitely something that I could pick out from a crowd. And that's bad. I'm just kidding.
And that's bad. You're supposed to blend in, you stupid idiot. This is a stealth mission.
Yeah, we're playing Metal Gear Solid, you idiot.
Kept you waiting, huh?
But yeah. This isn't Snake from Smash Brothers. This is Snake from Metal Gear. What are you, dumb?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, there you go. At least you accept your flaws. Well, then.
Yeah, I always worry about that too, that I think my style looks too generic a lot, but...
Your style does not look generic at all. Like, I can definitely say for a certainty, like, you have some things you gotta work on, but, like, finding your individual, like, style is definitely not one of them. Like, I gotta say, I could pick you out from a crowd. I admire the way you work your line art, like, traditionally. I can't reach that level. I've been too stuck with digital to, like, actually, like, get down to that. But you, you with your like crazy line art. You know, have you seen this guy's work? His crazy like action poses and his motion lines, and the way he does like just regular inking, even on paper is like, dude, come on. You got a style going on. You can't deny that.
Well, thanks, man.
So,
Thanks.
of course, not gonna lie. Got to be honest.
Gotta be
I
honest.
respect your work.
And I respect yours.
Good. We both respect each other. Except that was a farce. I don't actually respect. I'm just kidding.
Absolonanonymous win. They realize friendship is more important.
Yeah. Are we still on the same question?
Yeah, we're still on the same question.
Jeez, we're really like just like lagging.
Yeah.
Anyways, next question. Thank you for asking, Jay.
Thank you.
Very nice.
You got another one? Because that one was for me.
I have a couple more. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Morton Crap Koopa. I love your name. Good job. Does any member of your family know about your artwork? Was their response positive or negative? My family is not. Wait. If they are aware, they do not mention it, and we do not speak of it. They don't know. Like I'd rather just not tell them outright. But I'm pretty sure they like suspect that I tend to draw this stuff. It's more of like as long as it just doesn't come up in a dinner conversation, so I just tend to leave it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just working through my life. If it comes up, like eventually, because I am gonna like bring this stuff, like not bring it, just leave it when I'm done with it. I tend to go into career of art, so if this ever comes back, I'll just say, yeah, it happened. I thought it was hot, so I drew it, and then I'll just like say,
it made my pee-pee hard, so I did it.
I did what's happy. But yeah, like basically, if it ever comes up in a conversation, I'll just say, yeah, like I did it. It just happened. And next topic.
Well,
But what about you, Kreat?
People have found out in my real life. One girl who started to stalk me figured it out, and that was a very awkward thing for someone to know. Also, I just kind of own it. My family members all know I do it, and they pretty much just say, art's money's money. If you're making money off of it, why not? I said, yeah, that's pretty much it. And my mother, when I was younger, caught me drawing fat art of girls I liked in my class when I was younger. So she's kind of assumed like it would happen. She never really brought it up when I was younger, and she's never brought it up since. But I'm almost positive she knows and has told my father.
Yeah.
So,
Like, here's the thing. You can't always like. It's very rare that you can hide stuff forever from your parents because they're your parents. And they basically live in the same house as you, and they know what you're doing. Like,
yeah.
Or they have a feeling. There's this thing called mother's intuition. Like, it's a really weird subject, but it's gotta be said that it's like it happens.
I would also say a lot of my good friends, my real life friends, they all know I do it, but that we also make fun of it together. Not me, but just the idea itself. And they all say like, yeah, money's money, it's whatever. They all know.
Whatever it is, what it is.
They all know about it.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, honestly, I could say to everybody, just gotta be confident about it, because I've been caught at work before where all I did was work with old crusty women, and they found me drawing fat art and shit. And when they would ask me that, I would just say, yeah, it's just body practice, and they would say, oh, okay, and that's it. Just own it. If you just own it, no one really gives a shit.
Yeah, why would you care about what other people draw?
I mean, yeah, like, really. And like I said, if you just own it properly, yeah, just say, yeah, I like it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm personally a very I hate the stigma that's like, oh yeah, you can draw muscles and shirtless guys all day. Oh yeah, I'm just practicing muscles. But the moment you draw some fat ass motherfucking titties on the page, all of a sudden you look like a weirdo. Yeah, right. Get off of my fucking Deviantart account, Kevin.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Let me check the next question.
Thank you very much for asking.
Thank you very much for asking. Yes, a few Nicals. This is probably Nical. What's your favorite? What's the best Pop Tart flavor? The best Pop Tart flavor is brown sugar.
You think so?
I mean, I was just going for like that's. I never. I always like when it comes to like Pop Tarts or anything that involves artificial flavors. I like the most basic flavor because then I don't have to deal with like marshmallow Pop Tarts or like s'mores Pop Tarts. Something that like you wouldn't really expect to taste in a Pop Tart. Like if you're gonna put a flavor in something, do it something that's like reasonable, like peanut butter. Peanut butter is like it's simple, but like when you try to cram an entire dessert into like a Pop Tart, then it becomes like
I
like red velvet cake Pop Tarts,
I
or like cheesecake Pop Tarts, like that kind of stuff. Just make it like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Strawberries are good. I like strawberry.
I honestly thought that I thought they did have a peanut butter one.
I think they do.
And I was actually gonna say my favorite ones are the s'more ones.
Well,
And
I mean
if
that's
I have
that's
to,
just my opinion.
I mean, my favorites are the s'more ones, but also my other favorites are the brown sugar ones. Because yeah, I'm with you. Just I think Pop Tarts are the best when they're simpler in flavor.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I think when they have the crazy ones, I remember they had like the weird like soda flavored ones or like
Oh, gross.
what were they? That just like orange flavored? Nah, no thanks.
Ugh.
Nah, thanks, bro. I'm good.
Like it's good to try new things, but like when you go that far, like soda as a pastry, no.
Yeah, I if I'm even remembering that right, or just like root beer float flavored, nah.
Ugh, gross. How could
Yeah.
you even like conceptualize that as like a breakfast pastry?
Bro, I don't know. Some people are weird. I know people who drink soda for breakfast, and I've never been one of those people. Just
Ew.
I can't drink a soda past unless it's past like noon. My taste buds just don't accept that.
I just don't drink soda that much. Like soda's bad for you.
It is bad for you. No, honestly,
Yeah.
if people out there want to lose some weight, just drop soda. You'd be surprised how much they can just slowly melt away body weight.
Yeah, just drink water.
Honestly,
I do it all the time. I just drink water.
you're not wrong.
Water's good.
H2O shit.
H2O shit. But yeah, basically, the simpler it is, the better it tastes, in my opinion.
Other popular ones are strawberry and blueberry.
I like strawberry.
Those ones are fine. And then there was one more. Oh yeah, I'm always cookies and cream flavored anything. I think will work just because it's just a very rounded flavor. It works with pretty much anything.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think I've ever had an objectively bad tasting cookies and cream treat. I think it's just the most.
I think it's like my second favorite ice cream flavor is cookies and cream.
Yeah, I'd say it's tied with chocolate chip cookie dough for my favorite.
Ooh, what if you mix cookies and cream and chocolate chip cookie dough together?
See, the funny thing is, should you ever come to where I live, there is a local ice cream shop with, I think, like 70 different flavors of ice cream, and one of them they have is called Ori Dough, and it is Oreo ice cream, or just Oreo cookies and chocolate chip and what cookie dough in the same flavor in vanilla. So it's exactly what you're
Sounds
talking
really
about.
good.
It is delicious.
Speaking of ice cream flavors, there's a shop here where I live. Called Kilwins. And did they have that where you live, killer ones?
They do not.
Hmm. Well, they do have this flavor called cookie batter, or like cake batter. I used to love that flavor because they actually put like these really chewy pieces of cake batter in your ice cream,
Ooh.
and it was really good. I think like when it comes to like combining flavors, my favorite thing to do is get pumpkin pie flavored ice cream and mix it with vanilla. Like that is my top favorite flavor of ice cream. Any pie mixed with vanilla ice cream is like my favorite thing in the world. That's my favorite dessert.
I can agree on that, except I'm just not the biggest fan of pumpkin flavored stuff.
That's that's fair, but like I wasn't a big fan of pumpkin flavored pie too. But my grandmother, she came to where the country that I'm from, which is down south, and she, because we don't celebrate Thanksgiving there, she came and she made the best fucking pumpkin flavored pie. Pumpkin pie became like my new favorite thing to mix with ice cream after that, because it wasn't the pumpkin that made it good. It was the crust. The crust was the crunchiest, most delicious thing ever. And if you mix that shit with vanilla flavored ice cream, oh my god, your taste buds were on fire. Just as just my personal experience, it was the best thing ever.
See, I'm a Greek boy,
I know you.
yeah, and my one of my favorite desserts ever are baklava sundaes. And
Ah, man, that sounds really good though.
it is really good.
I have a family friend that makes baklava.
So if you take some really fresh, warm baklava, and because it's if you make proper kind, like my brother can make some bomb ass baklava. If you take that, and then on top of that, you put just a couple of scoops of vanilla ice cream, and then just a little bit of chocolate syrup. That is some good shit. We had it because Greek Easter, or Greaster, as I like to call it. Because, I mean, it's the Greek calendar for Easter. It's different than the Catholic calendar.
I get it.
And so, for us, it was celebrated this previous Sunday. And yeah, we had a bunch of baklava that came over, and we had some ice cream from that ice cream shop I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had I think like 3 or 4 baklava sundaes. It was delicious. Oh god, it was so good. Yeah, I'll definitely try and have some prep for you should you ever come visit.
Sounds like a plan. Maybe you never know; it could happen.
It's gonna happen, bitch. And then
it's gonna happen eventually.
Then we'll record a live episode together.
Yeah. Yeah, we should actually record an episode playing Melee or something. That'd be fun.
Luck-based plays.
Melee.
Melee. It's just
a picture.
It's just
a picture of a crab.
It's just 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's 3 hours long. It's either got to have a crab on the thumbnail and somebody getting hit by it, or a stick of deodorant.
I'd be down.
Do you understand the references I'm making?
The crab one?
Or am I being... Yeah.
Say it again. I think you might cut out when you were...
The crab one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, crab in a box.
Yeah, crab in a box. Oh, my God. Anyways, moving on, because you spent a lot of time on this question that was only like 5 words long.
Yeah, it was just one fucking sentence.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting question by Semistick. I owe you something. I'm gonna have a lot of time over the summer, so be patient with me. Do y'all still kink shame people, or has being a degenerate yourself made you more tolerable of other weird stuff? The thing about that is, I could be very tolerant of stuff as long as it's reasonable, And I can understand what you're saying, but Absalon, inflation is not reasonable. It's not physically feasible, and you're right, it's not. But at least I don't like feet because feet are disgusting.
Yeah, I'm also in the same boat. it's one of those things where I like to. There's one picture that I'm always a fan of where it's this iceberg. It's the classic iceberg meme where it shows shows an iceberg, and then at certain levels there's specific fetishes and all that, and as it goes deeper they get more and more egregious. Where in there you'll have it like the top, you'll have BDSM, you'll have missionary position, all that shit. And
what even is that?
Missionary position, it's where it's the classic girls on the back, guy takes it from the front. That's missionary position.
Oh,
and
that's a fetish?
Yeah, just consensual vanilla sex. That is absolutely. I mean, if you want to be honest, that's the most common one, I would assume.
I mean, that's just like
having sex.
That's just sex.
Yeah, that having sex. Yeah, that's one. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you'll have like all that vanilla stuff at the top, and then I think like a layer down, you'll have SSBBW, inflation, tickling, all that stuff. And then as you go down, it's like feet, and scat, farting,
and water sports.
Water sports is below that, and at the very bottom you have like gore and death and all that shit.
And at the very, very, very bottom, like the deepest part, is furries.
Oh yeah, no, that's the whole thing. It bleeds all over it. It's this giant menstrual explosion all over the whole thing.
Oh my god. Ah, man. Do I hate furries?
How I like to say it, just to help you out here. How I like to say it. I have friends who are furries, and to me, they are just my friend. They're my friend. I don't judge them differently or anything for enjoying what they enjoy. However, if you are a piece of shit and you deserve to be clowned, then guess what? You're a motherfucking furry, and you deserve that. You deserve that title if you're gonna be a fucking idiot. If you're not a fucking idiot and you're not a goddamn clown, then you're fine. But the moment you start acting like a total faggot, guess what you are? You're a fucking furry.
It's just like there's so much stuff that you can like shit on them for that it's like becomes an entire different classification. If you just like drawing it, and then it's like whatever. Yeah, sure, like go for it. It's like whatever. But like the stories that you get, I remember actually the funniest thing was reading a creepypasta that was based on like furries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like the funniest, like these people in fursuits are genuinely threatening my health, and I'm just sitting here laughing while reading that. I have like the video saved. I could send it to you.
We'll have to read it
if you want. It's actually
we'll read it together sometime. Yeah,
we'll read it together. Yeah. Do I kink shame? Kink shaming is my kink, so yes.
I kink shame if it's really, really egregious.
Yeah.
Or I generally don't blame the kink. I blame the person. Unless it's, obvious, like horrible shit like gore and scat and just really...
Or pedophilia.
Or any of that, then yeah, you're gonna get clowned. That's just disgusting.
You get clowned.
There's not... Yeah, you any sort of ridicule you get for being an actual terrible or objectively weird person, you deserve it. That's just how is how reality goes. Don't call it kink, Don't call it kink shaming. Don't even call it a kink. Say you have a problem. You have a deficit or a deficiency.
And I guess it's fair to say that we have a deficit.
Yeah, we're defunct.
Yeah, we're defunct.
Yeah, and we're not even defunct. We are defunct.
To find out what we are, read the description of the video.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're obviously no better since we are, in a way glorifying obesity, which is wrong. But
yeah,
because I'm not even trying to say we're better, but I would say I'm definitely not a weirdo freak like a lot of the people who are generally into that shit are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I can safely say that I can be normal.
Yeah.
If I really want to, I could just stick with chubbies.
Yeah.
Like talking about like a little thickness here and there, and I'll be totally fine.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't need.
Anyways,
the best way of saying is I don't need this. This isn't the thing this isn't the only thing that gets me off. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this isn't the only thing that gets me off.
So. Yeah. No.
I just realized what I said. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's also. I think we'll cut that little part out. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
So,
Anyways,
yeah. Thank you
yeah,
for asking that question. Yes, if you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. There, that's it. Goddamn furry.
yeah. Thank you for asking, Semi-Stick.
All right.
Next
So
question.
next
Second to
question
last one.
for you. Okay, go ahead and ask it.
Yeah. Well, do you have any more questions?
I got three more.
Okay. Let's just this one out of the way. Just a quick one.
Mhm.
This is very thought provoking, and I think we could really learn from this example. So
Okay.
everybody, pay attention. We need to really
Hey,
sort of answer this question.
hey, DJ.
It's very glaring.
Hey, DJ, turn down the Mozart. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and play it.
Spin Bubbler asks, "Y'all play Fortnite? What's your favorite Fortnite dance?" The answer is Default Dance, and this is a really important question. Kreat, what is your input?
My answer is the Orange Justice Dance. That is objectively the best one.
I specifically like the Orange Justice Dance with Thanos doing it, and it says she took the kids. That's my favorite meme to come out of Fortnite. I played Fortnite for 2 days. I didn't like it, and I uninstalled it from my Nintendo Switch, and it will never come back ever. Fortnite is dead. Endgame spoilers. Fortnite was in Endgame.
Yeah. Wait,
That
really?
was funny. Yes.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yes.
You have to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding. No, I'm
Oh
not.
my fucking god.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Kreat.
That exists.
You're taking too long to see it, so now I'm giving you more reason to see it.
Spin Lover, thank you for ruining my day.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Alright, so
I have another information that could ruin your day, but I'm gonna spare you.
Alright, so next question is Not Sesame. He asks, do you believe that spirits/ghosts exist, or maybe extraterrestrial life? I always find that these are fun topics of discussion. Got any personal stories about them? I personally am in the camp. I have a weird opinion when it comes to ghosts. And I am in the camp that wants to believe that ghosts are real. Because, could you imagine... I don't think anyone would understand the amount of joy I would feel to be visited by an actual apparition, an actual spooky, scary ghost. Because that would be legitimate proof that the afterlife is real. Do you understand the amount of comfort that would bring somebody to know that the afterlife exists, that the human spirit is a real thing, an actual soul exists?
Yeah,
like that.
Every one of your family members, maybe they're in heaven.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I am someone who says no, I do not believe in ghosts because I've never experienced one, and I've tried to. I've honestly tried. I've gone to haunted places before, and I've gone during certain hours, and nothing happened, ever. Literally nothing. And the only story I can give where there would be some level, because it's with my ex-girlfriend. I was sleeping over her aunt's house with her. And so they have a dog named Hannah. And so Hannah's this golden retriever who I could hear her walking on, the floorboards and shit. And all that throughout the house during the day. And then when we're just trying to go to sleep at night, she and I were just sleeping by ourselves in this one little alcove room. And how you get to this little room is... you go down this little L-shaped hallway, and ours is at the bottom of the L where the foot would be. So there are no other rooms on the way to this this room in this hallway once you hit the L, once you hit that angle. So I hear what sounds like dog paws, because it probably was, and it was walking down the hallway. And then suddenly we hear this, scratching on the door. And I think, oh, that's probably Hannah. It's probably the dog, except I get up to go open the door, and I take a second, like, I think that's Hannah, and then my girlfriend's like, go let her in, and I take a second to get up, and I go over there and I open the door and there's nothing there, and I think, oh, yeah, I just probably went back down the hallway, and then my girlfriend was saying, no, there's spirits that live in this house. I said, what? She tried to convince me that there's actually a little girl who lives in the house and scratches on the doors. I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah, it's just my issue, my main issue with a lot of ghost stories are that, most of them happen at the most pristine time for the brain to start playing tricks on you. It's dead of night when your brain's already trying to fuck with you, or it's already not fond of being in the dark, so it's hyper aware. So small sounds will suddenly become louder, or you're more focused and fixated on little details, so your eyes suddenly play tricks on each other. That's just how the brain works. Because we did a lot of hunting at night, and the brain got very good at recognizing faces in the dark, or recognizing figures in the dark. So that's a byproduct of our instinct, is to recognize.
Genetic makeup.
Yeah, when we hunted at night, we had to pick things out real quickly in the dark. So yeah, that's always my thing. It has to always be a specific hours. Like, oh, it has to be at 12:15 on a Thursday afternoon, and then the ghost will come and finger you in the ass. But why is there always these specifics to it? Why can't it just be, this ghost just happens to show up sometimes?
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m.
In the dead of night.
Yeah, at 3 a.m. Don't FaceTime Thanos, or he'll come over and slap you in the dick.
Don't call the boss baby at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise,
he'll come and
or he'll poop in his diaper and kill you.
Yeah.
But I personally don't believe in ghosts, but that's just because I haven't been given a solid reason to. But I am hoping that they are. I am hoping that they are. I'll give you guys that one.
Yeah. I'm in the category of the world is weird and a lot of things happen that we cannot explain. So, me personally, I do believe in ghosts, and I've never really encountered one that I can confirm was a ghost, but I do have a story that could just be my figment of my imagination, but it definitely constitutes as a scary story.
Okay, go for it.
I think you've heard it before, but I'll tell it to everybody here. I was in when I was in the. I'm just gonna say I lived in Brazil for a good portion of my life, and we were always moving around. Right, we never stayed in the same place for more than like a couple of years. So the first apartment we rented when we came to Brazil was really old, and it was an old building, and I don't remember having any super really prior experiences. I just remember this one specifically. I tend to have like insomnia, like some sort of, sometimes I just can't really fall asleep. Right, I'll stay up for a good portion of time when I'm like really hyper or something, and I can't go to sleep. So what I did was I decided to go get some water, and I walked into the kitchen, and it was like 12, or it was between 1, or it was between 12 o'clock and 1:30. I can't remember exactly, but I just remember going to get a glass of water, and one of the forks from the kitchen just like fell. I probably, now that I think about it, maybe it was because I knocked it over. But at the same time, it was like I didn't really move anything that much to be considered like, moving in myself. The way that the kitchen was laid out is that you had the living room, and then you would go around this corner. So like you had the square. Just imagine like a big like square as the layout of the main like part of the apartment.
Okay.
75% of it was the living room, and 25% was the kitchen. You would go around this corner in that same square where there's this wall laid out, and there's this very narrow kitchen, and it has 2 counters, one on each side. One side had a filter which is where we would get the water, because you cannot drink the tap water in Brazil. It's really like disgusting, and there's a lot of bacteria in it. So we would get this filter. You put the cup under it, and you filter the water. So I went there, I filtered it, and as I was getting the water, this fork just dropped on the floor. And I was thinking, oh shit, that was kind of spooky, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I knocked that over. So, I just like drank the water real quick, put it back in the sink, and I went to my room. And I left the door open by mistake. And the weird thing was, I don't remember having any of the windows open in the house.
You had opened any of the windows in the house?
I do not remember the air conditioner being on, and I do not remember any of the windows being open. But somehow, my door slammed very hard. And that's the thing that perplexed me. It's like, for that to happen, it just like, it was like still for a good like 30 minutes, because I left the door open to go get the glass of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
I came to the kitchen and got the water, came back, and the door slammed. Like really, really, really hard. And I don't know how, because the entire house was just still. Like I didn't feel any air flowing or anything. And yet it slammed somehow. And I just like remember freezing up in pure shock. And I felt my heart almost like burst out of my chest, and I just stood there really quiet, cuddled up in my blankets, staring at the door for a good 15 minutes before, just sort of like going to bed. And I don't remember any other time experiencing any sort of like activity that happened in the house. But in that moment, I like felt this like really strong sense of like wariness, or like
Danger.
Sort of like, I wouldn't say dread, but it was like
Danger.
It was like really like sudden. Yeah, I was really like just shocked, and I was like 12, so maybe I was making stuff up in my mind. But I asked my dad, and he said no. I didn't turn on the air conditioner, and none of the windows were open. I never experienced anything else in that house, in that apartment, but I think that's like my biggest ghost story. Yeah. So yeah, I think I do believe in spirits.
See, yeah, I'll reiterate that I'm not saying that I don't believe in ghosts. I'm saying I really, really, really want a story like that to say that I think I might have been visited by a spooky fingered fiend.
Yeah,
but
he diddled me in my sleep, and I screamed.
Dude, one thing I definitely don't. I do not envy anybody who has sleep paralysis, because that shit sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Because like, have you ever seen? There was a guy who made a Netflix, like a little Netflix special called Sleep Paralysis or something like that, and it was the recounting of people's dreams, or not dreams, but experiences having sleep paralysis. And one of the weirdest things.
Sounds really, sounds really like terrifying.
You want to know what one of the worst parts is, though?
What?
According to the people who do have sleep paralysis, there are reoccurring figures that appear in people's dreams. That's the strangest one to me, is that there are certain types of figures that appear in people's sleep paralysis. Not everyone has like unique ones. The same figure sometimes shows up. And there's one where it's like a man with a top hat and a suit or something. And then there's like this very tall, red-eyed, white-faced monster that just kind of like hunches over.
Yeah.
And then there's like shadow people who crawl on the walls and all that kind of shit. You know?
So you're saying that multiple people see the same thing?
Yeah, multiple people who have never met each other or have different lives completely. People who have sleep paralysis have seen the same person, or the same figure, I should say.
Yeah, so, I don't envy those people.
Yeah, I don't envy anyone with sleep paralysis. If a viewer out there has ever had sleep paralysis, my heart goes out to you, because I have a feeling that if I went through that, I think my heart would actually explode because I would be.
Yeah.
I just think that it's just not in my. Yeah, for some reason, yeah. Whenever I think of spirits or ghostly stories, I get more excited than I get scared because, man, I would love to sort of be there to experience that, to see or to feel that weird supernatural dread of sorts. Like you were saying.
Hmm.
And I know that sounds really weird. Kind of, there's a weird phenomena that people have where, a tragedy happens and they're kind of upset they didn't get to partake in it. I don't know what that's called,
Yeah.
but there is a little weird, feeling of being left out. And in my case, that's sort of how I feel with ghosts, because I know a ton of people who have, oh yeah, I got slapped across the face by the Annabelle doll or whatever, but. I just think to myself, man, that'd be really cool to experience. I kind of want to, kind of partake in this ghoulish ritual or this ghoulish happening.
Well, here's what you do, Kreat. You get a Ouija board.
Okay.
You play it alone in a graveyard, and you just don't take your hands off of it. And
Is
just
it by
say goodbye.
is by Whammo? Do I have to go get the Whammo brand?
The Whammo brand. Get the one that's like the foam, like it's like styrofoam version.
It has.
And you use a Dorito. You have to poke a hole precisely in a Dorito chip and use that as the.
And it breaks. It's like, oh man, shit.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit, he's not gonna come now because I broke the Dorito.
But honestly, just be careful with spirits in general.
Yeah.
I'm not really one of those superstitious guys, but it's just the things that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's best to be safe.
I'm not gonna go desecrate any graveyards if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah. I know, but it's just those people who would want to experience something. It's just you just got to be careful because sometimes you get what you wish for, and it's not exactly the best experience.
Yeah,
I know what you mean though. You want a story to tell. Mm-hmm. Say, oh yeah, I saw that. I experienced that.
Because I said, I would absolutely love to alleviate that fear that everyone has that there's the spirit isn't real or the soul isn't real, but to see a ghost, I would say dude, you be to. I'm not saying to experience a dreadful figure or a vengeful spirit of any sort. I'm not saying you're lucky for experiencing something that would harm you. That's not good. But I'm talking for legitimate proof that someone or that there is some sort of force beyond death. I'd say that'd be pretty reassuring.
I'd agree.
Just personally, on a more personal level with that one, I would say I'd be pretty excited. I mean, obviously, if I would just see a ghost and it would be like, "Oh, your soul is damned," that'd be this is fucked. But to also say yeah, ghosts are real, dude. I'd love to say that.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I think something my mom always said to me, and my mom is very spiritualistic and religious. Mm-hmm. Those people, it's you just it's good to want to, I'm not I'm not telling you that you shouldn't desecrate graveyards because I know you won't, but the scariest things in life, are the things that, are within the material world.
Yeah.
You don't want to wake up one night and realize that there's someone inside your house.
Yeah.
I think that's way more terrifying than a ghost.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
a ghost can't it could probably give you a spook, but it most certainly, if it's not like a fucking poltergeist or something, it's not gonna kill you. But you know what's gonna kill you?
Some crazy
a psychopath.
Yes.
Yeah, some sort of weird psychopath that is in your house. That's a real danger.
Yeah, some crazy motherfucker who's gonna stab you to death. That's danger, like you said.
Yeah.
But
it's danger.
I am way more prone to being frightened by some crazy motherfucker in my house than a poltergeist.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next question.
Even though, and I'm not even trying to sound like, oh yeah, I'm a cool, tough guy. But personally, I would also just be less afraid of it because I would also not be too afraid of some, crazy motherfucker or just some person invading my house because, I don't know, maybe it's just being a bigger guy in general, but I wouldn't be too afraid of it because, yeah, it's kind of hard to be that much more scary than me, honestly.
You probably got the advantage because I've seen like, you're a pretty big guy.
For you.
I'm just like tall. I have some build, but there's just something about it because I spend time at my house alone sometimes because I take care of my dog, and I I dread having someone appear on my doorstep, illuminated within the shadow of the open window that is my front door, because we have a light and an open window that casts a shadow onto like the hallway inside of our house, and I dread the moment that there's a figure standing there at 3 a.m. in the morning.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. in the morning, I FaceTime Thanos, and he shows up and he smacks me.
I guess just for me in my case, like, just it being some person, I don't know, part of me just sort of rationalizes that it's just some dude or just some like weirdo who's just trying to intimidate me, like just trying to be spooky. You know what I mean?
I know, but like
it's the feeling of like someone is somewhere where I am supposed to be safe and not worry about this. I understand that, and it's the thought of oh god, my not my privacy, but just a place
safety zone.
Yeah, a place that I thought was safe is now jeopardized. Yeah, I understand that, and I definitely have had those spooky nights where I definitely would not want someone to come out of nowhere to my house. I'm not saying I'm an ironclad wall of stoicism and I'm not afraid of anything, but I also feel like, in my case, my bravery and stupidity goes up the more people that I have to protect. The more people that I have to protect, I guess, in a way. Like, if someone were to show up and, look all ooga booga spooky and on, like, my doorstep, at 2 a.m. and, my girlfriend or, a cousin or someone else is there, dude, I am opening that door and spearing that motherfucker down my steps. Like, I am coming out there, like, I'm going to tackle this guy and I'm going to bounce his head off the pavement like a basketball. I don't know if that's just sort of like male protection kicking in, or like a fatherly instinct. But the moment I know someone else that's close to me is in trouble, then that's when any sort of fear of someone else harming me gone.
I gotta tell you, man, if someone like gets on my doorstep in the middle of the night and like tries to scare me, I'm probably in like a panic. I'm gonna go to the garage and get the wood cutting axe.
And what?
And get the axe that we used to like chop wood.
No, dude. Seriously.
Like, I get like legit. It wouldn't be like because of like macho something. It would just be like out of fear, because I'd be like legitimately scared and I'd start swinging that thing.
I mean, fear helps to keep you alive. I mean, it's what kept us as humans alive for so long.
Yeah.
There's also what was the other thing? Like sometimes when I would have to watch the house because my parents would sometimes go on big vacations and I would just be home alone for like 3 or 4 days. Yeah, I would make sure to have a bat just in case, like near me at all times. Just an aluminum bat. Someone breaks in, you better know I'm swinging this motherfucker at you.
Yeah.
I'd love to see someone try and like look intimidating while I have an aluminum bat in my hand. You know what the worst part is too of like the whole home invasion shit?
Mm-hmm.
If you harm somebody in your own home when they're breaking in, you can actually be arrested. Like, you can actually get in trouble for that.
Oh well, should have just let him just like kill me. Yeah.
Or just break in.
Sorry. Yeah, the law, not to get like into the politics or anything, but the law is
a little weird. I'm not saying weird. That for certain. I definitely have heard stories of people get their house breaking into, and then they like, I don't know, they throw someone out one of their windows, and then the other guy sues that they hurt them.
Oh my God.
I'm like, are you serious? The dude broke into his house.
Yeah. Aren't they like allowed to defend themselves?
Yeah, I think the thing is you have to prove they had malicious intent.
They literally broke
I think
into your house.
Yeah, I think if they like break a window or like break the door down, then yeah, you have proof that they were coming in with malicious intent.
Oh yeah. I understand that.
So I think what I
That's
do
what it
just
means to break into someone's house.
yeah, what I would do to circumvent that would definitely like break one of my own windows and then break his kneecaps.
Yeah, he broke
So
my windows. Can you see?
Yeah, and he also has to pay for them.
Yeah, he broke my windows, so I broke his kneecaps. Equivalent exchange.
The law of
But
exchange, yeah.
I think we've been on this question a little bit too long. Let's move on.
Also, for the other half of it, the other half was aliens or just like extraterrestrial life. Now for that one,
Yeah.
Mathematically, it is impossible that we are the only thing to live in the universe. It's mathematically impossible. So that's my answer.
I think there was a quote that said, either we're alone in the universe or not alone, and both are equally terrifying outcomes.
Well, yeah, because if an alien race visits us, like visits Earth from their planet, then they have interplanetary travel, which puts them leagues ahead of anything we have.
So God hope that they're not hostile, because we're dead.
Yeah, because they will just, if they have interplanetary travel, then they have something far beyond nuclear bombs.
Unless they're just allergic to water or some stupid
M. Night
Shyamalan twist.
And blunt objects, don't forget that one.
Yeah, blunt objects, yeah. Or just do like the World of the Wars thing. They're just allergic to air.
Really, that was it?
Yeah, the bacteria in our air is what killed the alien invaders.
See, just as a last little bit to this, I really want a story somewhere where human beings are like the most fearsome force in the galaxy. Because
there are.
But I'm saying, wait, which ones?
There is. I read like a creepypasta once, and it's exactly what you're describing.
That we're just like space orcs. We're just this
not that
violent race.
It's I'm not sure if it's like spoiling it or not, but the whole thing is that we just so happen to be in the Bermuda Triangle of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And every other race within a couple light years or a couple hundred light years of our planet just happens to have life that goes insane and dies, right? That kills itself. It kills its own race, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for some reason, we're the crazy ones, right? So whenever we made contact with the outer planets, they saw what we did to our own people, and they're like, "Wow, these guys are crazy," right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would actually, I'll send it to you because it's a good read. Like it's pretty much what you're describing.
Yeah, I like it, but I'm not saying in like a creepy way. I'm saying in just humans, because of our just total brutality as a race, as an entire species, would just eventually become the most powerful thing in the universe because that's just what we are. If we don't have something big enough or strong enough to beat the shit out of you, we'll make it. Like if we don't have a bomb big enough to blow you up, we will build it. If we don't have a gun strong enough to kill you, we will build it. Like
just give us enough time.
Yeah, whatever.
Give us prep time.
Whatever is in our way, we will make sure to remove it.
If we're cool enough with doing war with ourselves, and then there's no like guarantee that we won't do the same thing to any other races.
Imagine a different species. Imagine looking at humanity as like a different species. We have sports. We have entire rituals where the entire purpose is to beat the living shit out of someone else.
Yeah.
Not even just fighting, but like contact sports. The entire point is to be stronger and more brutal than your opponent. That's what most of our sports are, is to beat the living shit out of someone else. We have entire fictional stories dedicated to bloodbaths. Like, imagine a different race coming up to see humans and say, Jesus, these guys like to fight. These guys are monsters.
Yeah, we're brutal.
We publicly televise other humans harming each other and in gladiatorial combat. Our heroes are the Rambo and the Terminator, people who are kind of immune to bullets and slaughter people by the dozens. Like those are our heroes. If I were a different race and I saw that, I would be like, yeah, these guys. We shouldn't mess with these guys. They will figure out the easiest and fastest way to kill us. Out of boredom.
Yep.
So, yeah. To answer the question, though, yeah, we're definitely not the only thing in the universe. So, aliens absolutely exist. It's mathematically impossible for them to not.
Yeah.
All right, so
moving on.
Thank you for the question, because yes,
thank you for the question. Yes,
you were absolutely right that those are definitely fun discussion questions.
Yeah, we just spent like 20 minutes talking about one question.
Yeah,
good job.
All right, so we're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done. Just a couple more questions.
Do you got another one?
I got one more.
Right,
how many do you have left?
2 more after that one.
All right. So why don't you tell us one more of yours, and then I'll give mine, and then you give yours last.
Okay. All right, so this is from Fizzlebolt. All right, so what obscure piece of media, book, film, show, game, etc., do you wish more people knew about? I've always been a fan of Mysterious Girlfriend X, which is a manga, and I'm curious if you lads have similar obscure passions.
I guess I've mentioned this before, but like Ranma One Half and you say Yatsura, I feel like a lot of people don't know that manga as much.
I thought you just say Yatsura was even though then again I never heard of it until I'd met my ex-girlfriend and you. So
yeah.
So yeah, I can't.
What about it?
Oh no, I just think it's great. Lum is absolutely got a good design.
Yeah, top tier. The only reason I say it's niche is because it doesn't it's not really localized here. It's popular in Japan, but not really here.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I never heard of Baki the Grappler until you introduced it.
I would say that Baki has kind of become more mainstream now since it has had a big anime release, and it did actually exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Not it didn't have Naruto or Dragon Ball numbers, but for being a Netflix only anime, it was pretty good. And I really
didn't it have a anime adaptation that covered the first part?
Yeah, way back in the 90s.
Yeah, that.
I would say what are some other good ones? Oh yeah. There was a game series that I wish got more popularity or more it had more people who knew about it. Custom Robo. It was a very big inspiration for me when I was younger. It was just it was one of those games where I thought it is all text. It is pretty much a visual novel with how much one of the final cutscenes of the game, which is this big now that the bad guy has been defeated, or this is a message from your late father. And then this long discussion about your late father in this cutscene, and it's all text-based. There is no voice acting whatsoever. And the entire cutscene is half an hour long. I'm serious. It's all reading. That's all it was. But I didn't care because I thought the story and the writing were very awesome. Just super cool because the story starts out very stereotypical. You just join this mercenary gang that's pretty much a bunch of no-name nobodies. And you're just some rookie user of these objects. The only thing that you know is that your dad was really, really good at using them, and you didn't really know much about him. He was always doing his work, blah, 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 that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, and then as it goes on, you start... One of the best things I remember that they did, and this is sort of in tandem with... use your limitations. Don't let your limitations limit you. Let them help you create. And one of the things about it was I noticed in the GameCube the GameCube had very powerful possibilities. There were some beautiful games on the Nintendo GameCube. Some still even look good today, and this game had a super cartoonish, simplistic style, even for backgrounds and character models. You know, they didn't have any facial animation, any of that. It was just, you know, just static 3D models, and the text boxes would show different expressions and whatnot to know during conversations. So a lot of the stuff was super simplistic. Like, trees were giant green circles on these brown trunks that led into flat green grass. And it was all solid colors, all that. But then as the game goes on, you realize that, and this is spoilers, you know, but the game is, I think, like 16 years old this year.
Okay.
And so spoilers for Custom Robo. You realize you're living in a dome, and you fight this one robo that is a living creature. And so how the robos fight, they're in these things called holoseums, which are these little digital places that they fight and, you know, jack into. And you fight one where all the other robo arenas were all, you know, really simplistic with basic design and architecture in them. But this one is super realistic with, like, real grass, real water, all that stuff, real trees. And your character even mentions it. He says, yeah, when I was fighting there, I realized that the grass was soft and flowed and in like a breeze. And yeah, it didn't feel like plastic. And then you realize that you were living in a dome, and the real world outside was destroyed by that robo. There was like a giant war, and all of humanity now lives inside this giant dome. And the rest of the world's a wasteland. I remember I was like, holy shit. This is amazing. Damn. Yeah, I thought that was amazing. Just that entire twist.
That sounds like an amazing twist.
Yeah, it was, because it really, you know, spoke to me, because outside of the dome, everything was super realistic and gritty instead of, you know, very clean and smooth and fake like it was in the dome. And I thought that was, I love stuff like that where they use the actual limitations, or, you know, they use sort of the inverted limitations of the hardware to make something with that, you know? I thought that was, I love that game. I wish more people knew about it. I need to find people to talk about that game. Same with Baki. I still need to find people to talk about the manga with Baki. Well,
now you have an opportunity to, you might be on the team there.
I might be.
You never know.
But yeah, so I would say Custom Robo just as a series, because I think it's a great series. I wish more people knew about it. And also the Pendragon novels, which were a great novel series I read when I was younger, along with Deltor Quest. That's one of my main writing inspirations, was Deltor Quest. So yeah, I wish more people knew about those, and if anyone does out there, please, I would love to relive my childhood. But yeah, those are mine.
I think one of the shows that I used to watch as a kid was, you remember when Jetix was a thing?
Absolutely.
Remember, like, Super Robot Monkey Team?
Yeah.
That show was the shit back in the day.
I need to watch that again. Jeez.
Oh my god.
I also remember Cubics. Did you ever see Cubics?
What?
That might have been no. That was a show. That was that was like a mid-90s show called Cubics, where there was this. It was a robot.
It sounds familiar.
There's a robot, and he was all made of cubes.
It was a Cubics because the name of the show is Cubics.
He was pretty popular back in the 90s, but, you know, sort of fell out into obscurity. Then there was another one where there was like this tiny robot and this giant robot, and one was like a little boy, and the other one was just this massive dude. And they were a team. I don't remember the name of it. I do remember Time Squad, though.
I remember Time Squad. Which one was that again?
It was Buck Tudd Russell and all that. And they went through history. and they had to like fix discrepancies in history. Like there was one where there were actually like some legitimately horrible episodes where in one of them Edgar Allan Poe was a nice guy, like because history was fucked up, and they had to go into history where they had to meet Edgar Allan Poe, and they had to make him miserable. They had to ruin his life.
Oh no.
I'm serious.
Edgar Allan Poe, no.
I'm serious. There's an entire episode where it was dedicated to ruining Edgar Allan Poe's entire life.
Oh my god. Well, at least he wrote some good stories.
I mean, yeah, but just I just remember that. That was horrible.
That sounds horrible.
But yeah, for you it was Ranma 1/2 and Urusei Yatsura.
I actually just like got into that at a point where I really started to appreciate manga for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And like Ranma 1/2 and Urusei Yatsura are like my niche shows because they like inspire my art style to a like an unhealthy degree because they're just like so fun. They're just like really, really fun to read, and like if you read it, you'll understand why. It's just so dumb, but it's so like entertaining at the same time.
What about Inuyasha?
I never got into it, you know? I keep on hearing that it's like really good and stuff, and I tried to read it, but I just didn't feel the same reading
Passion.
Ranma. Yeah.
Yeah, I just with me.
It's kind of like the opposite. I've heard from people who read Inuyasha that they couldn't get into Ranma 1/2. You know, maybe it's just like whatever you read first sort of influences how you read it. The other thing.
See, as I didn't start trying to watch Inuyasha until I had my ex-girlfriend, and she really, really wanted me to get into Inuyasha. And I just couldn't.
Yeah.
There was just something about it, just because I knew exactly what kind of story it was going to be, and it was going to be one where it just plays out the entire fucking, it's the most boring shit. Because it's just, hey, we have to find a secret, a shot of the sacred Shikan jewel. That's what they called every fucking episode. Just they couldn't just call it a jewel show. They had to say a shot of the sacred Shikan jewel. And
yeah,
it's just okay. It's this again for the 90th time. And also, oh yeah, Inuyasha and Kagome like each other, and then Inuyasha's all like, I don't like you or anything. You
fucking bitches.
You fucking cunt. And like, no, he doesn't. It was just that for like 300 episodes. No thanks. I'm alright. I'm all good.
Like, that's kind of the thing with like Ranma 1/2. It's kind of like that, but it takes itself less seriously. So it's like. It kind of like becomes that, but it's also, has its moments where, you can kind of see it and there's actually character progression.
Oh, hey, that's good.
Like, it has that, like, that sort of, like, I don't like you or anything, but, like, here's a flower, you bitch. It's like...
I just hate that. I hate that entire...
I kind of hate that trope, too.
I hate that entire trope, yeah.
But I actually read it more for the action. Because They both have like their own share of like comedy and action.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
And you can absolutely love whatever you love, but I personally just think that just those kinds of stories or that kind of love plot, man, it annoys me more than anything.
Also, there's his brother too, Sephiroth, but not Sephiroth.
Or Sesshomaru, or as I like to call him, Sesshomaru.
Sesshomaru.
No, Sesshomaru.
Sesshomaru.
Yeah, she would always get... I even pronounce... That, the best thing is that's how Inuyasha sounds in the show. he has that kind of like... Yeah. Like, yes, Iron Reaver Soul Stealer. Like, that kind of shit. And I just remember saying, like... I would always just say, like, Kagome, just... Kagome, my sword, it's just Saiga, Oh, we gotta stop Sesshomaru.
Sesshomaru.
It's just so... and then she'd always be, it's Sesshomaru! Say, Sesshomaru.
I think, the thing about that is that, Ranma, like, for a good, 2/3 or like almost half of the series in the anime, because I never really watched the anime. I preferred the manga. But I remember like halfway through the anime, they switched voice actors. Because Ranma sounded like a teenager, right? In the beginning, because he's like
Yeah.
16 at the start of the story, and then he turns 18 at the end. But they switched like from this dude who sounds kind of like, like a teenager, and then they switched it to Inuyasha's voice actor.
Yeah.
And it was such a drastic change, and I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was funny.
Then, what else was it? Yeah, so yeah, is that, I guess that answers that question.
Yeah.
So,
Should we go on to the next one, or do you want to finish? You want to say something?
No, we got, yeah, that was it. Go ahead, give yours. And then I got one more after that.
Yeah, we got Big Shine, also someone who, I owe something. I have more time over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Always nice to hear you guys talk about your experiences as artists in this strange community and reflect on its state. What's the most positive aspect of being part of it for each of you? Also, how would you make it better? Now, that's a question.
Yeah, that's...
Focus on the positives.
Save that one for, save the best for last.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good question.
Interesting enough, do you know who Banner Galactica is, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that comic he did, The Interns?
The Interns?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
The one that had like the girl that has like the hologram arms, and there's another one that looks like a vampire, and the other one that has like a paintbrush.
I had not read that one, no.
It has like butterflies in it.
I had not read that one, no.
Well, he's the one who actually came up with this guy who's asking, he's the one who actually came up with the idea of the characters.
Really?
Yeah. And he commissioned Banner to do those. And I thought it was interesting. I said that, I'd do like a comic with those characters. I think I'm like a year late on that. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna get around to it eventually. Be patient with me. I've been really backed up. But anyways, positive aspect of being a part of it for each of you. Well, first I get to draw this stuff and actually put it somewhere, and second I get to meet artists who actually give me constructive feedback and stuff that I can improve on. That's always a plus. How do I make it better? I would put an age limit for 12-year, like for 18-year-olds to follow me. People who are minors, I could just kick.
I wish there was some actual way to do it, because what a lot of kids in this community don't understand is that you can actually get a lot of people in trouble for not adhering to that. The whole, if you can actually get them in trouble because you could say that you were selling or soliciting pornography to children, and that's a big old no. So I would absolutely make it where, that would pretty much be saying, I would make it where people would be truthful all the time, but
in a perfect world,
I would also say I wish that I could not have children on my stuff either. I mean, there's literally no way for me to control or police that other than saying I am an 18+ artist a lot. So, you're gonna wanna make sure you say that, but there's really nothing I can say on that end. Make it better. I would say understand your limits. I know that Rule 34 on the internet is a thing, and trying to control the internet is literally the easiest way for you to not succeed. But I would definitely say that I would personally want things to be off limits. I would definitely want to keep some things sacred and pure, not looting or making certain characters or certain types of characters, fat. That'd be really nice. I would also
give us an example. Give us an example.
Kirby characters.
Oh my god.
Or lollies. Just don't enjoy lollies, please.
Don't draw kids who are literally 10 years old. Don't do that.
But Absolonanonymous, they are 20,000 years old, and that's right.
No. No. No.
But But for real though, because yeah, like I said, there have been some really positive things. I've met some really cool dudes who have helped me get better, and I've met some legitimately good friends through this stuff, and I've made some really fun art through this stuff. So I definitely think that as an artist, you should always be open to avenues for your stuff, and never be too ashamed for the stuff you like. I mean, you're gonna obviously get clowned by people who will clown you for it, and I am unashamedly going to say, if you do weird shit, I'm gonna clown you. But that's just something you have to expect on the internet. Yeah. But overall, yeah, I'd say getting to connect with other people for something that that you enjoy is very nice. But I would definitely say, yeah, some people. One thing I would absolutely fix is people need to figure out how to give criticism and, comment correctly. To actually give comment correctly. Yeah. That's the one thing I would fix is, like, for people to legitimately comment correctly. Instead of just saying, nice, cute.
Yeah, that's the thing I hate the most about this, like, this whole shtick is just come with something that I can use. And I'm not trying to be, pretentious and say, oh, you guys suck because you can't give me actual criticism. If you want to comment, that's cool. You just comment with, nice. Then I'm not going to, crucify you but it doesn't really do anything for me.
And I personally, if you do that, on my stuff, don't expect any kind of, don't expect any response. I bet everyone who does that is just thinking, I hope I brighten up their day by saying nice. But honestly, it just kind of... just getting that notification, seeing that's just one word. No, it really kind of just makes you grumpy.
You want to know something else that grinds my gears?
What?
Role-playing in my comment section.
Ah, yes. Please don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's for everybody. Don't role-play in the comment section. There's Discord for now. Like now we have Discord. Come on.
We have Discord.
Have a little bit of have some tact.
This isn't the 1920s. Come on.
Yeah, have some tact. Don't publicly do that, because everyone can see it and everyone is laughing at you. That's not to be mean. That is to protect you. Everyone is laughing at you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just for everybody. They are.
Yeah.
No one is watching that and saying, "Wow, they're so good at role playing, and I love it. It's so good." No, they are laughing at you. Yep. All of you. Do it in private.
Don't do it in public where everybody can see you. It doesn't do anything for you.
But yeah, one of the most positive things that has come out of me being in this community is I've made some really, really good friends who I am proud to call a friend.
I feel like you're referencing someone, but I don't know who.
Yeah, his name is Absolonanonymous.
Oh, what a nice thing to say.
It's so hey, there's this girl and
just like bass person.
Yeah, it's like the really creepy face.
Yeah, it's Carl Weezer.
It's Jim Carrey's Eggman.
Oh no!
Where he just puts the glasses on and just his smile is all distorted, to where it's like touching the edges of the picture.
Yeah, eye flares and something else.
Yeah, all right. So let's see. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're a good friend too.
Thanks, man. All right, so.
Yeah, thank you, Big Shine, for commenting.
All right, so since we've got one question left, I saved this one for last. So this is from PP Head.
Okay.
And he asks, which is the best, boobs, butt, or cranium?
Definitely cranium.
It's obviously cranium. There's no contest.
Yeah.
That's an LRA plus star quit. Yes.
Yeah.
No contest.
No dispute whatsoever. How could you not?
And with all that said, all those questions, that just about wraps it up for tonight.
Yep. That's it.
That was quite a little romp to have, and it was very nice to just chill out and not have to have a big old guest and do all that.
Yeah.
It was nice to just return to a nice little calm,
Mhm.
simple kind of format. And thank you everybody for showing support and watching us for 10 episodes now and sending in all your questions. They were a lot of fun to answer and talk about. And we're definitely gonna do more. We're definitely gonna do more Q&A episodes in the future. So if anyone out there didn't get a question in and wanted to ask one, and we obviously didn't get a chance to say anything, don't worry. We're definitely gonna do more of these in the future, and we hope that everybody continues to watch and support everything we do and all the guests that we bring on, because just there's a lot of fun to do. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting us. And with all that said, I'm Kreat-Like-Crete.
I'm Absolonanonymous.
And remember, everybody, art is all luck based. See you later.
Yay.